My name is Chesh. My Instagram's TechChesh. I live in Washington, but I'm a Colorado local. Fuck Washington. I started spinning poi in like February of like 2000 something. I don't know, it's been like 4 years. I just was like going through a crisis, trying to get sober. Gloving was kind of my first thing. I needed something to keep me occupied when I was getting sober. Yeah, the first like 9 months of being sober were just kind of like figuring out who I was outside of drugs and alcohol, and then realizing that there was more. And then I was like, I should create stuff. And then I started playing with poi. I liked the lights. And I liked fire. I've always liked fire. I've always been a fire kid. I mean, I'm a welder. I've been a welder for like 11 years, and I'd always used to set shit on fire when I was a little kid. And like, yeah, I saw a kid spinning fire at a kind of renegade thing, and he asked me if I wanted to spin, and I was like, fuck no, dude, I'm gonna hit myself in the face. Like, I can't spin poi, there's no way. Well, here we are. Everybody tells me now, like, oh, at least you found something creative to do with fire instead of destructive, so. No more Molotov cocktails, no more burning people's houses to the ground. I was a crackhead and an alcoholic for 6 years. I was a different person. I was very redneck, very racist. Kind of went through some pretty heavy shit. Got involved in some stuff and then lost everything, and one day packed up all my shit and left and got sober. And then it was really hard to stay sober, so I needed something to kind of keep me occupied. Found poi, did it every day by myself for like 8 hours straight. By myself every day because I didn't have any friends, and I had just gotten sober and I had no idea who I was. So I was like, all right, we gotta figure some shit out, and this is kind of fun. Kept spinning and kept myself sober for going November 6th, it'll be 5 years. 5 years sober. Almost 5 years of poi now, so. And just kind of didn't stop. Didn't have anybody, didn't have anything. Was a loser, had nothing, had no car, had no money, had no job. I just dropped acid and spun poi, and then from there things just kind of started piecing together. I started getting my shit together and kept spinning, and it helped me kind of find who I was, and found Chesh, and everything kind of blossomed from there. Became the Cheshire Cat and kept running with it. Oh, flow state is the most beautiful thing there is. It's completely releasing everything around you and just becoming one with yourself, for one. I mean, I think it's truly just a way of disconnecting from everything around you and centering into yourself. And I mean, when you're in flow state, you don't think of anything else. You're just there in the moment, present, and everything just kind of works. You're not trying, you're not looking to do anything, you're just in it. And when you're in it, everything just kind of flows perfectly and everything feels good. And there's no better feeling than flow state. I mean, I've done a lot of drugs and there's no high better than flow state, that's for damn sure. I've not found anything that really quite meets up to it. You can tell when somebody hits flow state too, because it's not like any other moment that you watch somebody spin. It's just like, oh shit, they're in it. Like, I remember the first time I realized I hit flow state, and it was just kind of like all the things that I'd been trying when I was just kind of practicing and stuff, they just like came naturally like nothing, and it was just go, 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 go. Flow state's beautiful. I tell everybody, I mean, like after figuring out what flow state was, I started realizing that you can hit it in everything. Like, it's not just like playing with these toys. You can get it in your work, you can get it driving your car, you can get it riding your wheel, you know, just like feeling that moment where nothing around you matters except for the present moment. There's not much that influences me outside of like, I just don't want to be an addict again. And I know that like anytime those urges come, I can just like pick up my prop and everything's okay for a little while. Like, my props aren't gonna hurt me. My props aren't gonna cause me pain. I'm not gonna be broke because I play with my props. I'm not gonna like drink myself to death or put a gun in my mouth again. I got really drunk and high one night and I just said, fuck it. And I grabbed a gun, stuck it in my mouth, pulled the trigger, and I woke up the next day and I'm still here for whatever reason, but I just don't want to do that again. So I just kind of stick to my props and You know, I have my days. I think one thing I've noticed in the flow community is a lot of us are depressed or have mental health issues, whether we talk about it or not. I think just going back to my props just kind of helps me forget about the rest of that shit, because sometimes I get hit in the face with a poi ball and it's kind of like, whoa, hey, you know, knock that shit off. Yeah, it's kind of like, oh, cool, all right, like I'm present, you know. So I mean, that's really it. I just don't want to be an addict, and I don't want to kill myself anymore. Oh, I'm a tech kid through and through, for sure. Boxes and weird manipulation shit are like my jam. Like, I mean, flowers are pretty, and I love caps and patterns and everything like that, but when I can do weird shit that just like most people wouldn't think of, or like things that aren't just like pretty. I don't really care about the pretty, I just like the weird techie like math and boxes, and like understanding that like this line goes here, and if you put it over here you can put this line here. Like, just a big tech kid. When I first started getting into it, I didn't know how to buy poi, anything like that. I bought poi from like another company, I won't say any names, and it really wasn't great. They came like, and it was like my first set of real poi that I bought, and they were like wrong color, wrong length, like unfinished, just a lot of stuff, and I was kind of disappointed. And then I went to Poi Chat, the dumpster fire, and I saw Austin Witherspoon spinning on there, and I was like, holy shit, you do a lot of cool things, like I really like you. And Logan Harris, like both of them, I was like amazed by them. They're like the first two real good poi spinners that I saw, like before Tim Goddard and all the other great guys. Like Austin and Logan were like the two dudes that I saw right away. This was before Austin had gotten on the Flow on Fire, and so I had kind of reached out to him and was talking to him, and he was telling me like, yeah, I got my poi from here, like was kind of talking to me, and then he got sponsored by Flow on Fire, and I was like, oh man, like this dude's awesome, like I kind of want to try to get on Flow on Fire too, because like I want to be on the same team as this guy. I'd only been spinning for maybe 7-8 months at the time, and I just reached out to Britt and sent her a video of me and my tie-dye hippy dippy pants and my shirt and my long hair down to my titties, and looked like a dope. And I had very few tricks that I was able to do, and I was like, look, I'm not really the greatest, but I want to be, and I bet I can get up there and be like really good like some of the guys, and I want to represent your team. And Britt, a few months later, kind of reached back out to me and had me write my resume for her, like a whole essay on why, and I did, and everything, and she brought me in, and so I got started with the team. And I remember I was so stoked to tell Austin that, like, dude, I'm on the same team as you. So, and then Austin actually came and visited me shortly after that, and I was like, dude, yeah, you're fucking sick, like, so glad I got to meet you. Now he's like my best friend. I fucking love Austin. I wanted friends. I mean, like, that was the big thing. That's like why I like the flow stuff, is because like I didn't have any friends, and then now I have tons of friends. Oh man, it's the best team ever. I mean, Britt and Kel are like the most beautiful people I know. I mean, Britt reaches out to me on some of my lowest days without even realizing she has. She reaches out to me and is like, hey, just hope you're doing good. Like, you know, I haven't talked to you in a while, how are you? And like, me and Britt have sat and messaged each other for hours back and forth. All my props behind me, all Flow on Fire, all made properly, all get to me in the right amount of time. I was headed to a festival, and I messaged her 3 days before the festival and was like, hey, this may not even be possible, but I'm going to a festival. I don't have LEDs. I just bought some. Is there any way you can get them to me in the next like 2 days before I leave town? And literally the day that I was driving out, my poi were sitting on my porch. Like, the customer service is top tier, but I mean, they're more just family at this point. I don't know any other sponsor that I can just be like, hey, I want this prop. And they're like, okay, cool, here. We want to see what you do with it. Like my sticks, Britt just sent me these amazing sticks behind me, the Cheshire ones. And I mean, you can just look at them. They're like, the quality in that is perfect. Best craftsmanship on the market. Each one of these little lines was put in with love. It's not just a single wrap. They wrapped each individual line to make these custom Cheshire sticks. You know, I could be a part of another team and maybe get one set of poi a year. They might be right, probably not. But, you know, I get all the poi I need. Britt sends me new poi all the time just to try out, to see how I like the new setup and everything. clubs, sticks, staffs, rope dart. I mean, we have it all. So that's like, the diversity for it is really what has me hooked, because it's like, I could just spin poi and then like have to hit up another company to get my clubs and then another company to get my sticks. But the fact that I can get it all through Flow on Fire without even worrying about it is like the best. And I know every time it's gonna be right. I don't know, I've thought about that a lot. Like, what do I want to do? Contributing to the flow community, I'd like to get into performing more, teaching more. I've been to like a lot of music festivals and had tons of people approach me and be like, dude, aren't you Techie Chash? And I'm like, yeah, let's jam. Like, and I'll hang out and I'll teach a couple tricks and then like kind of go do my thing. And really, I just want to go and teach poi to people or whatever prop I happen to be falling into the rabbit hole of. Now that I'm a captain, like, you know, I really want to promote the team more and kind of get more involved with like more team stuff. I've definitely brought a lot of people onto the team and like still continue to. Big shout out to Austin and Logan, great humans. Beacon, you're my boy, dude. Beacon showed me a lot when I met him in Denver. Hung out with him quite a bit when I first moved back to Denver. Geometric, he was a big influence too. Like when I first started, like he was one of the first people I saw spinning poi and I was like, holy shit, you're good. Justin Hindi, he taught me a lot. He's a really good person. I mean, it's Hindi, you know, everybody knows Hindi.